I've been thinking a lot lately about how we actually receive truth. Not just facts or information, but I'm talking about that deep daily flow of light and wisdom from what I call infinite source, God, the creative cosmic consciousness, etc. And it's so easy to get lost in the noise of the world, isn't it? But I've found, in my experience, that the second you stop trying to find the universe is when you start to realize it's already right here, literally looking through your eyes. It's really about finding that point of resonance, that space where you let the I get quiet enough to hear the all. You aren't connecting to something outside of yourself because you are the universe experiencing itself. And those daily downloads aren't being sent from a distance. It's as if they're bubbling up from within you as you thin the veil of the ego. Now, whether you call this mysticism or just finding your inner compass, it's the same. Living from this space changes everything. It's how we move from just surviving to becoming a clear channel for truth, for light, love, wisdom, that we can actually share with the rest of humanity. So the first part is tuning our internal radio. Now I'm going to call what I'm talking about the infinite source. You might refer to that as God, the creator, the divine, great spirit. Infinite source exists in a state of isness. So to tap into this, your internal frequency must match the vibration of the information you seek. So you could call it the 0 point perhaps. It's practice entering a meditative state where you're not the past, you're not the future, you're simply the observer. And that acts to clear the cache of your mind. We have caches on our computer that store old images and old information. Useful at the time we originally accessed data, but if it stays in there, it's old and often it creates problems and it needs to be cleared. And it's the same with our mind. It's hanging on to old experience, old intellectual processing. So to enter that meditative state, or however you want to get to that 0 point, that acts to just clear that cache of the mind. And then that makes it a lot easier to get to that point of resonance, or you could call it divine alignment. So true downloads often come when you stop trying to get them, because the more you're trying to get them, the further away you're actually pushing them. The more you need a result, the more you're broadcasting a frequency of lack that I don't have. And that creates just distortion. And tuning this internal radio gets us to a point of neutrality, release. We move away from that chaotic noise floor of unresolved trauma and digital distraction in our lives. And so by releasing attachment to how the wisdom should look, you open the channel for raw truth. It's very important to move away from any expected outcome for the wisdom that we seek. We're just open to anything, however it may come, for that raw truth. It usually comes down to, well, how do I really access this? What is a practice? Now, I'm not necessarily into strategies or techniques because we're talking about inner things that can be sensed through other means, but these suggestions might be useful for you. And one of them is, above all else, is to be consistent. Consistency creates a dedicated channel within your consciousness to get these divine downloads. It allows abstract light to ground to concrete reality. So you might want to do a morning routine, as I do. I call it the morning vacuum. It's certainly not a vacuum cleaner, but before I engage with phones, social media, my to-do list, I sit in silence for about 15, 20 minutes. Often, actually, I just lie on the bed. I'm awake, but I'm lying on the bed. Sometimes for half an hour to 45 minutes, I'm just silent, letting any distractions fall away. And that creates the necessary void for the new insights to land. One practice that I know certain people like, and I think it's a good one, if it's your thing, is just to practice automatic writing. And that would be to simply ask a question to the universe that you have pressing in your life right now. And just allow your hand to move without judging the words. You're not analyzing it, not looking at the grammar. Just letting your hand move as you feel a flow at that moment within. And over time, the voice of the ego fades, the intellectualizing, and you'll notice a deeper, coherent wisdom takes over. And one of the most important daily practices for being receptive to that divine signal is to always act on your highest excitement at every moment. Follow your passions. Because when you do that, that alignment acts as a magnet for relevant information and aligns your physical resonance with your higher self. How do we really know it's a divine download? We can discern the source because not every thought is a download. We have our intellect, and it's always full of suggestions about what to do, how to process things. So genuine wisdom from infinite source, in my experience, it carries distinct markers that separate it from the localized ego within. So for example, a genuine download versus what might be the voice of the ego. Think about the texture of what's just come to you. Ego, it's heavy, it's urgent, it's now, it's anxious. Whereas that divine resonance, it feels light, it feels spacious and calm and expansive. The marker of language, the ego, it uses words such as you should, you must, you better than, or I really ought to do that. There's that obligation always attached to it. Whereas divine resonance, when you're really aligned with it, it's simple. It's not complex. It's often very singular in focus. It's profound. It's non-judgmental. What about the marker of, let's call it orientation? The ego is obsessed with past regrets, failures, should have done that, remorse about something, or it's fixated on the future. It's anxious about that, and it's a what if, it may be even catastrophizing. That's the ego. Divine resonance, it always operates in the eternal now. It's what is this present moment speaking to me about. And then a final marker might be the purpose of what you're downloading. Ego is all about preservation, all about survival. What's in it for me? Very self-centric. Whereas that divine resonance, when you're aligned with it, it's about service, not survival. How does this message, this insight, serve the whole? So we sense we're aligned with infinite source, we're picking up on an internal download, we're discerning where it's truly from. And then we need to look about grounding that light for humanity, because for me, that's what it's all about, to be in service for humanity. Our wisdom is the means to bring light and love and wisdom and truth to humanity. So receiving the information is the first half of the process. And then to share it with humanity, that wisdom in somehow, needs to be stepped down into physical density. For example, inspiration, just catching the raw frequency in states of quietude. When we're at peace, when we're at rest, when we're present in the moment. And in the translation of that, we're turning the feeling we have into concepts. As I've always said, it might be journaling, it might be art, it might be just simple yet profound communication with others. Integration, embodying the wisdom we receive so that our life becomes the message. And the transmission of that, sharing the insights through your creative lens, my creative lens. We're all unique, and it will come through us in a certain way. And finally, if someone raises a question, is this truly for all people? Can everyone access this? Yes, this is the universal potential. If source is omnipresent, that is everywhere, in every frame, infinite, limitless, then it's in the very fabric of every human being. You, me, all of us, all humanity. So while the language of the download varies, some might receive it through clairsentience, which is their instinct, their gut feelings, or some might receive it through clairvoyance, visuals, or something what they see, or synchronicities. There's a number of ways to see this, just through impressions within. And then discerning it through what I've already said. That capacity in all of us is universal. It can be cultivated, developed to a high level of receptivity. In all of us, we can all tap into this, whereby we can live from divine wisdom from day to day. And doing that, living by this inner compass, it provides us with self-sovereignty. We move away from being an effect of the world to being a cause in the world. Now, the ego is not an enemy. It's just a tool. So if we can put the ego in the passenger seat and let the infinite source through us take the wheel of our destiny, we become this powerful, localized expression of universal truth to the world. At a time when things seem so dark, you are bearing the light. When life has got to such a complex level, we can break it down through simple living from source, and letting that wisdom flow out from us to a world, providing solutions wherever they're needed to help humanity not just awaken from the illusion of life around, but to ascend to a higher level of consciousness.